the recording. Thank you very much. And I will start the short presentation. I don't know if any of you who have been staying on in the meetings notice that my presentation has gotten shorter and shorter. If I'm tired of listening to myself, Leila, imagine how the rest of you must be feeling.
Yeah, my ears, see?
Okay, so back to Zoom, back to share
So
screen.
I'm out. That's the last time you'll see me. Thank you. Good luck.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the candidates debates, LIASA's candidates debates. This is the afternoon session, the last session for this afternoon, and this is for the portfolio of treasurer in the upcoming debates. I also want to greet the panelists, the audience, present and future. Good governance is an indicator of a healthy organization, and good governance upholds the outcomes relating to, amongst others, legitimacy, transparency, and ethical leadership, as recounted in the King IV Principles of Good Governance, to which LIASA has aligned itself. Our global society is in a state of transition from the old normal to a new way of doing things in a COVID-dominated world. And we still need to know what this new normal or this new way of doing things are going to be. New ways are going to be. Likewise, LIASA is in a state of evolutionary growth and development as we continue to implement the LIASA restructure and we traverse the implications of those actions. In any case, our rock, our foundation, that is unshakably LIASA, the principles that we hold on to in these turbulent times are those of democracy and of inclusion, as well as a reminder on your screen of the core principles that LIASA ascribes to. I want to emphasize the importance of voting. Until 1994, a large portion of our country and our fellow citizens could not vote. We were deprived of our right to vote, and therefore it is our responsibility in honor of those who gave their lives and who sacrificed to bring us to this point, and for the stalwarts and all the other people in LIASA who worked tirelessly and in a democratic fashion and through sacrifice brought us to where we are. For those reasons, I urge you to vote. I ask you also to continue to contribute to the success of LIASA by placing a considered vote. I ask you to vote for the best person rather than your best friend. We need a strong team to support Nazim through the many challenges, including restructure and membership management, that are facing not only the current term, but also the coming term in Nazim's presidency. I also urge the delegates, if you are elected, live up to your election promises and do your best for LIASA. Thank you very much, everyone. I would also like to announce that if interested persons would like to pose questions to the panel, to the delegates, if time allows, we will take questions from the floor. Please enter your name, your LIASA membership number into the chat box. The office will verify you as a current LIASA member. And as I said before, we will take questions if time allows. Best wishes to all those involved. Thank you. So colleagues, I'm now going to start with an introduction, firstly of the delegates and then of the panel, right? On my screen, I'm just going to introduce in the order that I see in front of me. Firstly, I see Dani, and then I see Steve. Where have you gone? I don't see Steve on my screen. Am I missing Steve, guys? Can somebody please help me?
It looks like Steve fell off for a moment. Let's hope he can rejoin soon.
All right. Anna Maria, are you able to give him a shout, or Rebecca, one of the EXCO members, could maybe? There he is. Hello, Steve. You disappeared for a minute. Was a bit worried about you. Turn your camera on, please, so we can see you. There you are. Okay, so colleagues, Steve, what you missed while you were away was I have done a presentation. And I framed that presentation by asking everyone to place a considered vote and also to ask the delegates, if elected, to do their best for Liasa. I'm now introducing the candidates. I've introduced Dani, and now you, Steve Makabuti. Thank you very much. I also want to introduce the panelists for this session. And they are in the order that they will ask questions. Nikki Kennedy. Nikki, can you turn your camera on, please? Nikki is from NK Accounting, for those of you who don't know, and NK Accounting is more than a service provider for Liasa. Nikki has generously shared her wisdom and the wisdom of her company with Liasa over many years, and we value that relationship to the point where we've asked Nikki to be a member of the panel. Thank you.
Thank
We've
you.
also all polished up for today, and who continuously makes me smile when I look at him, is our President-elect Nazim Hardy. Smile and wave. And then you must put your camera on today, Anna-Marie. Anna-Marie has so many hats. I don't know where she finds the head to put them on. And her latest job in the previous event was to be the manual timekeeper. So to add to your skill set, Anna-Marie, welcome. And then last but never least is our electrical officer, Ms. Leila Wahed. Come on, Leila, show that face. Okay, Leila's gone to get some more coffee.
No. She was ready to share screen, so that's why I disappeared. But I'm right here. I'm ready to put on my magic hat.
Yes, you are, and I'm not going to stop you. But just, if you don't mind, just hang 10 a few seconds. Let me just do the housekeeping, colleagues. No personal attacks, please. In our meetings, we can have an orderly and respectful debate. All microphones must be muted until called upon to speak. The candidates will keep their cameras on for the entire duration of the debate, as will the panelists. There will be strict time control. There is a beeper. I see the blue sky timer is with us again, so you will get to see the timer, colleagues. Please be aware that it makes some loud beeps and booms when your time is up. And then we will start with a 4-minute opening statement, and Leila will determine the order of that, who goes when, by waving her magic hat. We'll show you in a minute. And then the panel will ask questions in an order that I have recounted now, which is Nikki, then Nazim, and then Anna-Marie. And you will have 2 minutes, candidates, you will have 2 minutes to respond, followed by another minute of rebuttal or expansion of your answer. And if time allows, we will take questions from the audience. So another reminder to the audience, pop your name, membership number into the chat box, and we will take your questions as time allows. As they say in the movies, over to you, Leila.
Okay, candidates, both your names are in this hat already, and you will offer your 4-minute opening statement in the order that I draw. Dani, you got chosen first, and obviously Steve. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leila. Dani, the timer starts now.
Thank you, Madam President. I knew it. Welcome to everybody here at the graveyard session. I think as Liasa Treasurer, I was in 2 terms from 2014 till 2016, 2016 till 2018 was I a treasurer, and although it was a slow start in this position, I gradually got the hang of it, and I think I've managed to sort of transform the way that the treasurer gives feedback at the AGM, so that everybody could understand that. And I think that's one of the things that the treasurer must work on, to simplify the feedback that it gives to the members, saying that it's important that the treasurer work closely with the EXCO as well as committee members, as well as treasurers and committee members of the branch and interest groups. I know when I was treasurer, we started that the national office or the national account regulates some of the branches and the interest group financials. And I think that's a good practice. I think it was up here and more branches and interest groups has done that. But I think it will be good if there's 80 to 90% of the branches and interest groups that place their money in the national, so that the treasurer can have a look, or how should I put it, regulate that. The treasurer must also ensure that the projects are likely to be beneficial for interest groups and for branches when they do certain projects, that it's profitable, so that they also can build a profit on their side. And then a thing that is worrisome is the debt from conferences and from membership, meaning that people don't pay. And I think the incoming treasurer should work on methods how to get that back. I know that in the past there was some methods in place, but I think it must be more stricter than previously. And for instance, if it's a virtual conference, the people must be cut off or doesn't get access to the conference. I think another method that maybe we can build the financials of the association is with sponsorship. Maybe instead, if companies give at the end of the year or a conference for paying for a stand, they can most probably give sponsors throughout the year and then get a stand for that sponsorship that they give, as well as some adverts in Liaza in Touch or the other.
Thank you, Dani. Over to you, please, Steve.
Thank you. I think maybe for a start, my journey with Liaza started somewhere in 2001, almost 20 years now, when I was requested to represent Limpopo in PECLIC when the issue of the grant started. And with some of the good people like Jay Ramesh, since then I've enjoyed my stay, but key to my focus here, I'm currently the serving treasurer, and I want to work on improving what we have already started. Some of these things which we have started to try to work on include good governance. I'm glad Liaza has consistently been able to sustain the good audit outcome. And perhaps as we go forward, we should also look at as to the issue of making sure that we also make sure our policies, we develop new, and also make sure that our policies are audited to ensure that that sustainability of the audit is there. The other issue which my focus would be at is more on enhancing our financial viability. Liaza will continue to need money to sustain its projects, to make sure that it continue to be the link for or a mouthpiece for the lease profession. And we need to be sustainable in the way we fund ourselves. And currently our membership revenue is the core which we need, but it's not really getting to where it's supposed to be. And the focus here should be also on institutional membership. I know I differ sometimes with the Madam President on this one, but I feel if the institutions are able to accept Liasa, we will be able to make sure that they put more money on Liasa. And again, we should also look at our other core revenue, like publications and the training and development, including the Liasa Academy. Those sources which we will generate ourselves are key for us to be able to sustain the work of Liasa in terms of funding. And the other issue maybe is continue to build our capacity, particularly in the office, in terms of this, you see, record keeping and financial systems, and making sure that the office staff are building that capacity. We are not relying more on consultants, while we still need consultants, but we need to capacitate and invest more on our staff so that they are able to carry Liasa where it needed most. I think for now, that's far I can go. I know there would be other questions, like the other issue which my colleague was indicating, the issue of the debt collection. As ESCO now, we are already working on other mechanisms to make sure that it becomes a history. And I hope we'll be able to achieve more. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve. Just to say that should you be the successful candidate, you will have a nice new shiny president to convince. Right, okay, so back to you, Ms. Leila, to draw the order of responses for the candidates.
And so my hatch is back and both names are back in, so Steve, you go first, and then obviously. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you, Leila. So over now to the panelists. And first, Nikki Kennedy up. Nikki, over to you, please.
Thank you, Nikki. Donnie and Steve, my question to you would be, what would you consider to be the main objective of the treasurer, and what would you like to achieve during your tenure?
Are you both clear on the question, Steve and Donnie? Steve, your mic is muted. If you are clear on the question, then please start.
Yes, I'm clear on the question. The main work of the treasurer is to make sure that there is always sufficient funds to do the work. I know money cannot be always enough, but making sure that the money is used properly within the policies, and making sure that the stakeholders you work with are happy with what you do with the money, and in particular by sustaining good audit. I think this has always been part of the good thing which has sustained more of our sponsors, and also particularly the grants, for the public to have confidence in us. But core to that is also to continue to make sure that the policies of the organization continue to work towards that direction of trying to make sure that the funds you have are able to work properly, and our budget reporting it's one of the key things which I always look at seriously, because once you draft the budget, it's important that you stick to it. And I think in the history of Liasa, this exco, due to COVID, is the first one to revise the budget, because whatever we have set ourselves to achieve, we realize that it's not possible. We must try to reshape and review our budget. I hope I've done justice to the question. I would accept follow-ups. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve. I was waiting for the boom of the timer, but I see it didn't happen. Over to you, Dani.
Thank you, Madam President. I think also the main objective for me will be to make Liasa sustainable financially. And the thing is with that is to build our finances. And maybe with the sponsorship that I've mentioned, it can be something like the President's Million to build our finances. I know with membership, especially if there's not a lot of membership of members, the finances take a huge dip. And that's also one of the key objectives, is to grow the membership, as well as one of the things that I would like to achieve is to grow the membership again to what it was a few years ago. And along with that is also to have good collaboration with your partners, and especially with your accountant, and the feedback that you have to give quarterly. Importantly, and I think that's one of the things that was lacking in my term, was to show on the budget the finances. I know only at the end of the year we show this is how much we have left over, and when it's going in for the auditors. But I think constantly there must be reconciliation with the budget of all the expenses, as well as the income. And I think that's also one of the main objectives and things that I would like to achieve. Thank you.
You are muted, Nikki.
Thank you,
Nikki, you can't talk to us if you want to.
It's been a very long day, Dani, a very long day. So
Words come back to bite her.
yeah, for terrorizing the delegates. Okay, so thank you very much, Dani. Now we're going to go into the rebuttal period or the follow-up, if you like. So back to you, Steve. You have 1 minute to follow up or respond to the other delegates' statements. Off you go. We need your mic on, Steve. Don't be like your president.
Yes, Madam President, particularly on the issue of the stakeholders. Our stakeholders are very, very key for us to be sustainable. I'm thinking here of our key, maybe sometimes we need to be able to have some structures to talk to them somehow on a regular basis, where maybe we are able to discuss our plans with them. And maybe, perhaps in this instance, we need also to have a financial committee, which would be able, because finances involves a lot of people. The financial committee will be able to talk to quite a number of needs and even of stakeholders, to talk to them about our vision and how best we can work together with them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve. Over to you, Dani.
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, I agree. One of the things that I have also written down here is to see if it's possible to have a financial committee. And when I was talking as president-elect, I suggested that we start transforming in the office by getting someone that can do marketing as well as fundraising. And I think that would be also one of the key things. So if we have a committee, like Steve said, especially people that can work on fundraising, that would be a very good idea. And work closely with the people in the national office, Anna-Marie for one, and Kagiso, to reconcile all the expenses and incomes. Thank you.
Thank you, Dani. Right, so now we're going to the next question, panelist question. In order to do that, we need Ms. Leila to wave a magic hat again. Over to you, Leila.
Okay, here we go. Donnie, you go first. And obviously, you're going next. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Leila. We trust you. We didn't see the hat this time. But as I said in a previous session, the LIASA is based on integrity.
Sorry.
We believe you. LIASA is based, we have another leg of the good governance, and that's around trust and integrity. And so over to, let me just check I'm getting this right now. I've made so many mistakes today. I'm going to be failed by my committee. Right. My nice and shiny president-elect with a lovely smile that is energizing me today. Over to you, Nazim.
Thank you very much, Nikki, and good afternoon to the candidates. So my question is as follows, and there are two parts to this particular question. What experience do you have with financial oversight and expense management? And how would you use that experience to make LIASA a more sustainable institution? Just repeat, what experience do you have with financial oversight and expense management? And how would you use that experience to make LIASA a more sustainable institution? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nazim. Dani and Steve, are you both understand the question? Is it clear?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Then in the order that Leila has now drawn, Dani, your time starts now.
Thank you, Madam President. My experience before I've started with LIASA, I was acting as financial management in the library. And then from there on, I was treasurer at Rettig. And from Rettig, I was the treasurer at LIASA Exco for 2 terms, for 4 years. During that term, I also done a course in financial management at Get Smarter that was presented through UCT. My experience of that was, like I said in the beginning of my statement, that I've tried to simplify the feedback as well as the statements that we present to the members. And I think if the treasurer built on that, that would be a good thing. Especially when there's a mid-year or quarterly to give the feedback to Exco. And maybe one of the things that we can do is to present a quarterly review of, or a summary of the budget for the members, half year or at the end of the year, before that we get to the conference or represented there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dani. Over to you, please, Steve.
Thank you, Madam President. Perhaps from the LIASA background, I've also been a chairperson of LIASA in Limpopo, I think back in 2007, 2009. And some of the things which is true, which the experience which I have, and also currently as a national treasurer, but at work, I've done a program, an NQF level 6 on municipal finance management program. I've worked with the audit committees at senior level, the risk management committees of the municipality. I've also been a senior manager and talking to the issues of ethics, which are key. And all these things would continuously help us to identify gaps where we are lacking and how best we can bridge those gaps. And perhaps with some of the policies which we're trying to bring along, like the proposed procurement policy, which need to be finalized, also trying to bring more transparency, and also because there are always more complaints from members saying we are not transparent in terms of procurement and all those things. I think when we have got policies which are more to public, it would help us to indicate the audit outcome we get is not a fluke. We get it because we are transparent, we do things straight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve. Back over to Dani for 1 minute rebuttal or clarification, etc.
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, I totally agree with Steve on the transparency, and I think that's what I wanted to say or clarify at the end of my question, to give the members insight in the finances. I can also say that being a minister and have my own congregation, that I'm not the financial chair there, but I do sit on the financial committee, and that also gives me a lot of insights into financial statements and how to do them and how to interpret them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dani. Over to you, Steve.
Thank you. The other issue, Madam President, which is linked to what we currently trying to indicate, is performance management. Perhaps as Liasa, we have not been really looking at it exactly as it is, so that as we do things, perhaps we clearly set targets for ourselves, both financially and also funding those targets which we have set ourselves to be able to achieve. And you find that as we perform for our plans, because we always have plans, but sometimes they are not directly linked to the budget, some of them. So as if we are able to do that and look at the way we can do our performance management as Liasa in such a way that the public will be much better. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you very much, Steve. Now we go back to Leila and her magic hat.
Thank you. So for question 3 from Anna Marie. Steve, you go first, and obviously Dani after. Good luck.
Thank you, Leila. This has been a very fair hat. So for the 4 sessions, each of you had a chance to go first. Over to Anna Marie. Anna Marie, your question,
thank you,
please.
Thank you, Nikki. Steve, Dani, my question to you is, give us 3 ideas to generate extra income for Liasa, and tell us how you would work with the other Exco portfolios to achieve this.
Are you both clear on the question? Would you like Anna Marie to repeat it? Anna Marie,
repeat it anyway. Sure. Give us 3 ideas to generate extra income for Liasa, and tell us how you would work with other Exco portfolios to achieve this.
Okay, go for it, Steve.
Thank you, Anamar. I would go back to, I think our core for funding is membership. If we try to get 30 institutional membership from each province, we will double a lot of money which we can be able to get. We're likely to have 300 membership. And it's possible because these institutions are run by members of LIASA. If we members of LIASA talk to them nicely, I think we would be able to, and the money which comes from institutions come in huge figure. The other issue is the one which the publications, when I reviewed our budget, I realized that there is some income there. If we really look at our publications, perhaps, and try to do more in terms of getting more adverts and also asking our partners to have more space, particularly those who are regular sponsors. I think it would help. The other issue is the one which I've always been insisting on, our brand. Our brand, I think if we invest into it, we will get something. And it can, I know the training academy, it can also assist us to generate some income. We used to do a lot of training, which helped a lot of people. I'm also a beneficiary to that. I'm a product of the training of LIASA, a lot of things. That's why in most cases, when I have an opportunity to do something for LIASA, I would always try to do it without
Thank you, Steve. Over to you, Dani.
Thank you, Madam President. I think, unfortunately, I don't have anything new. The only thing that as in my opening statement that I've said was the sponsorships. If we have a conference at the end of the year or close to the end of the year, and we ask some of the vendors and publishers to buy a stand, instead of giving that at the end of the year, maybe they can do a sponsorship for different stands for the conference during the year. That would most probably also be a type of relief for them, not to fork out a very big amount at the beginning of the year. But if they give it monthly, I think if you do that, it will be also sustainable. The other thing is membership. We've talked about that. That's to get people to pay. But I think if more universities, like I think Leila mentioned one time that UKZN, and I know the UCT, I think also do that, to say, if you want to apply for a position, you have to be a member of LIASA. So if that can be maintained and go through to universities, that will be a good thing. The other thing is the adverts, and I think there you work closely with the PRO, so that they can be in communication, as well as the academy. You work closely with the office. Membership is institutions, and sponsors is with publishers and vendors.
Okay, thank you very much, Dani. Leila, I've forgotten now. We finished our 1 minute rebuttal, right?
Yes, we have finished the 1 minute rebuttal.
Yeah.
We now go on to audience participation.
Yes, certainly. Thank you very much. So, colleagues, I've been alerted that Totro wants to ask a question. Totro, over to you.
No, I have to draw.
I beg your pardon. All
Yeah.
right, so please go ahead and show us your magic hat, Leila.
Okay, and this draw will apply to all audience participants.
Yeah, there we go. Got it.
Right.
Thank you.
If there are more audience questions, the same order will follow. Can you see my magic hat?
See your magic hat.
Thank you. So here goes, fingers crossed. Ronnie. And it's Steve. I thought it might be somebody else, but anyway, it's Steve.
We can see it's the end of a long day. Okay, that has been the fairest magic hat I've seen, Leila. Right, Tonko, are you around, Sisi? I see your name.
Good afternoon, colleagues. I've got two questions to the candidates. One, do you have any plan on fundraising? If yes, how to implement it? And do you have a duration time to implement it and give the report that can be approved by the accountant, which is Nikki? Two, now that the finances is a sensitive part, what you are going to do to transfer the skill to the upcoming treasurer in order for them to be able to be known a good governance of finance and of the association. Do you have any idea of it, how you are going to do it? Because finances is the sensitive part, as I mentioned. I've got those two questions for you, Steve and Danny. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you very much, Tonko. Leila.
Thank you, Nikki. Those were two questions, and our timer is set for 1 minute answers per question. So I need to ask, do you have other audience questions lined up?
Not that I'm aware of. Have I missed anything? Just give me a second. Linda, membership number 4087. I don't know which Linda this is. So I have, Linda, another question, yes. But Leila,
Can you
before we...
pose those questions separately and give them 1 minute each to answer each question?
Right. I want to also ask your opinion about the questions that Toto posed. The one about fundraising, if I'm not mistaken, has been asked by the panelists, including Anna-Marie. Would you agree, Anna-Marie? Or is it, I see Nikki nodding, and I see Anna-Marie nodding as well. I would like to
ask the question in terms of generating more income.
Fair enough. But what I wanted to propose was that the second part of Toto's question has not been explored in one way or another yet, and that should get full attention.
I agree.
So that is my proposal. Before we go on to the responses, I want to ask Linda, which Linda is this? I think there are three Lindas. There's Linda Ntaka, and then there was Linda from the Library of the Blind that I saw online earlier on. So Linda, please identify yourself, put your camera on and ask your question. Oh,
Hi,
it's our Linda. Okay, hello, Linda.
This is Linda Ndaka. I just wanted to find out, with the current economy and everything going on, the traditional way that Liasa was outsourcing the income, what are the other things that you can think of that we can use to generate income in future?
Thank you very much, Linda. Thank you. Leila, I'd like your opinion, please. I'd like to propose that we give each of the delegates 3 minutes. There are 3 questions that were posed. Toto asked about fundraising and about skills transfer, and Linda now asked about new ways of raising funds. Are you in agreement with that? As electoral officer overseeing the integrity of this process?
Yes, I am. That's okay. Go for it.
Thank you. And then Anna-Marie, you've managed to reset the timer to 3 minutes. Thank you for the thumbs up. Then in order of response, it's first Danny, then Steve. Are both of you clear on the 3 questions?
Do we have to answer the first one now? Any fundraising?
You're going to get 3 minutes, Danny and Steve, to answer all 3 questions. Yeah. So the questions are, about fundraising. The question is also about how you're going to transfer those skills to treasurers that subsequently come. And then Linda asked about new ways of raising funds. Is that correct, Linda and Toto? Are you
That
two
is
happy?
correct, Nikki. That is correct. You may proceed.
Thank you. Thank you, Leila. All right. So, Danny, you are clear. Steve, are you also clear on what is being asked?
I think I grasped everything, and then I would give my best shot.
Certainly. So the time, Danny, you first. The time starts now. 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam President. Yeah, like Steve said, I will also try my best. I think there's numerous times we talked about fundraising and how to do that. And I wanted to say, because you said the question was already asked, is we will get all the ladies together and organize a car wash for all the gentlemen and raise funds on that matter. But but yeah, fundraising is always, I won't say a problem. We've talked about it, I've talked about it, and I think if we start to, maybe if we cannot get somebody else in the office, try to give training to one of the people in the office so that they can help with fundraising. Maybe some methods, I know there was talked about crowdfunding. I don't know if that will help for libraries, but I also know that people can we can write to the Lotto and try to get that. The academy, instead of getting people from outside, we can use them, people within the organization that is skilled, that can help training to get funds so that we don't have to pay them. That's also one of the methods that I think that we can use to generate income. The skills transfer, in this case, I know that with every change of EXCO, when there's a new member come in, that we get Nikki Kennedy, and she come in and she help with the skills transfer. Both Steve and myself were on National Treasures, so I think this skills transfer for now would more or less be covered, but there's always room for improvement, and I think that's where Inca accounting come in. So I think, yeah, generate income in this difficult times. Maybe we can look at the membership, keep it more or less the same instead of making an increase. I know maybe that's probably what the new budget and things would look like, and see on the budget what is necessary and what not, to keep the funds sustainable. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Danny. Over to you, Steve.
Thank you, Madam President. You know, this during this COVID, as everybody is going through difficult times, and again, and I think while we should look at alternatives for us to have extra income, one of the other strategy we should be looking at, how best do we make sure that we are a little bit stringent in the way we spend our money, and make sure that we try to do a lot of savings, and also try to get a lot of savings from what generates some few income from what we have. And with regard to fundraising ideas, I think publications, it's one of the area where we should really try to find gaps and try to concentrate more on it. Like I've already indicated, particularly because people who sponsors and investors into the list profession would likely put money in there because they've got interest also. So for that purposes, and I think LIASA must try to build its capacity around our publications, how far we can go to try to entice sponsorship to be able to invest in that sector. The other issue is the very same membership, which I've already indicated. We can try to explore it and see how best we can get, particularly institutional members. And the other issue again, Danny has talked about other NGOs which have got interest in part of the things we do. I believe in him. I think institutions like Lotto, which can invest in some certain programs we have so that we can be able to make money. It's a good idea. The other issue, we should also look at the possibility in terms of training the new generation. We must have regular meetings with them and regular planned programs with them, and then we'll be able to make sure that we enhance those skills. They are able to come up and lead also with that confidence. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve. Colleagues, I don't have any other questions or notice of any other questions. I'm going to draw this meeting to a close unless there are any reasons why I should not. We have had a very interesting hour of debate. We've listened to our delegates. They have shared with us their experience, their expertise, their thoughts on how to improve the financial viability, the liquidity of LIASA, as well as points were touched on around sustainability and how to manage LIASA's funds in the new normal, or in whatever the new normal turns out to be. I want to express my thanks to the two delegates, Dani Malan and Steve Mokabuki, and I wish them well in the outcome of the voting. To the panelists, to Nikki Kennedy, to Nazim Hardy, and to Anne-Marie Goosen, thank you very much for your time and attention, as well as bringing your expertise to bear in this very important candidate debate for what is a crucial portfolio in the executive function of LIASA. To the electoral officer, thank you very much, Leila, for your magic hat, as well as your attention to detail, for your contribution to making this event happen, and I dare say a success based on the feedback that I've already been receiving. It's been an incredibly long day. To all of you in the audience, both who have joined us just for this session, many of you have walked this road with us since the start this morning. I thank you for your time and your attention and your dedication to LIASA. I urge all of you to make considered votes based on the information that we've provided to you. And Leila is sharing her magic hat. Why am I seeing your magic hat, Leila?
Because I have one more thing to share.
Okay, but can I finish my speech first?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you to the audience as well. And thank you to everyone who couldn't be here, but who will be watching the recordings. Okay, here we go. I'm stepping out now. Oh, listen, my elderly eyes can't read that. Please tell us what that is, Leila.
Goodbye, and thanks to all who participated throughout the day.
Thank you so much, everyone. I declare this
everybody.
meeting closed.
Bye-bye.
And
Bye.
good luck to the delegates.
Thank you.
Sure.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.